Good afternoon. This is Woody Collins with Congo Helping Hands, and this is another edition of Talking About Congo. Today we have two interesting subjects. One is a carryover from yesterday when we talked about my friend who got a letter. Well, actually, he didn't get a letter, but he got an email message from someone in Kenya saying that they were hungry and that they needed help. And he asked the person to write a letter to the church. And so that's where we left off yesterday, that they were supposed to call the church today. Then the second thing we want to talk about is a study that I read about that also deals with hunger and also the effects of the COVID coronavirus pandemic. So we will get to those right now. And this is Woody Collins again with Congo Helping Hands. But we're going to start talking about Kenya. Okay, so the person who was on Facebook was in Kenya and said, "Hey, we're suffering. I need help." And my friend told them to get their pastor to go contact the nearest Presbyterian church and then have the Presbyterian church contact our church. They were supposed to call this morning. I'm not sure whether they called or not, but however, shortly before I came out, I had a letter from Frank, my friend, who said also he talked to the person, and also they sent a letter, and that he would send the letter to me. I did get the letter, and I was getting ready to make some inquiries to the our headquarters of the Presbyterian Church down in Louisville, and at that time, uh, I would ask them what's going on and how we can help if we decide to help uh, this church through the Presbyterian Church over in Congo. I mean, over in Kenya, since the Presbyterian Church of East Africa had the minister at that church had wrote the letter, and it was actually addressed to me. So at this point, we're still uh, moving out. I'm gonna contact the regional representative, and hopefully, she will be here in country, because most of the missionaries from all the countries have come back to the United States during the pandemic. So hopefully, she's here and she can shed some light on this congregation, and also give me some advice on how we are to reach out to this person, and whether we can, you know, what's the best way to help this person uh, with something. And so I'm gonna get that information and pass it back to my friend who got the original message, and hopefully I will be out of the Kenya business for a little while, and we can go from there. So the second subject we want to talk about today is on hunger. What this study did, they were interviewing people with a program called 321, and they found that in these five countries, there was, and Congo was one of them, where they interviewed people who they had been helping with food insecurity, meaning to say that they've been providing food to them. They decided to ask them how they were doing in relationship with the pandemic that was going on. And this was back at the end of May that they asked the questions, and they had an overwhelming response of people saying that it was bad, and that they were feeling more threatened at this point from maybe dying from hunger than they were actually from the COVID virus, which is kind of scary from the standpoint of people really feel at the point that they are really have no way to go and nothing to do, and so therefore they're in desperate situation. So this kind of goes hand in hand with the other letter that we got from the Kenya, and I knew that there is places within Congo, and a lot of people who, some people who have actually written me and said that they're not doing well and so forth and so on. So it is reaching a desperate situation. The World Food Program has already said that they needed to get out in Congo to help people because Congo is the second um most food insecure country in Africa, and well, actually the first, and the second most country in the world, and the first being Yemen, where there's a war that's been going on, and so they couldn't get food in there because of being blocked by other nations and stuff. So, this is all to say that hunger is a big problem, and it seemed to uh, be a little bit uh, beyond uh, the pandemic that we're facing at this point in time. As more people feel threatened by the going hungry, than it is for people to um, then catching a pandemic and I mean the coronavirus and dying from that or being sick from that. So that's what I have today, and I'd like to thank you for stopping by and listening in. And if you have any questions or comments, please forward them into whatever platform you're listening to, whether you're listening to this on Facebook or whether you're listening to it on YouTube. Please leave your comments. Would just like to know on what you think about this situation with hunger and people in Africa, both Kenya and the Congo. And finally, we'd like for you to be safe, take care of yourself, and be blessed. And we will talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We do this every day at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, but you can catch the rebroadcast on Facebook and on YouTube. You can go to those platforms and 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 catch up with what's going on. So tomorrow we for sure will hopefully have some more information about what's going on in Kenya and how we're going to help this folks out. This one person, whether it's a youth group or something, it seems to be a group of people. So we'll take care of this and see how things are going on, and see how we can reach out to them. So as I said, take care, and we will talk to you tomorrow. And thank you for stopping by. And this is Woody Collins with Congo Helping Hands, and we will talk to you tomorrow, same time, 3 o'clock.